Welcome back to the S&T Football Podcast. In this episode, we're going to continue talking about the draft steals of the 2026 NFL Draft. Different players that were not selected in round one. They were selected in rounds 2 through 7 that I believe were really huge steals in the draft, that these were really talented players that maybe went a little under the radar, were not ranked as high as some other talent that got selected in the first round, but I do believe that they're going to be playmakers and starters and game changers at the NFL level. These guys were really good in college for their respective teams. I believe they will make the transition to the NFL very smoothly. So we're going to continue talking about some more of those players that were selected in later rounds. So the Los Angeles Rams, obviously the controversy with them surrounding their draft was with Ty Simpson, the quarterback out of Alabama. They selected round 1, pick 13. That surprised a lot of people. That's probably the biggest story of the NFL draft. So other than that, the Rams did have a very solid draft, including taking Max Clare out of Ohio State, the tight end, in the second round. And I want to talk about their 6th-round pick, CJ Daniels out of Miami. So this guy moved around a little bit in college. He transferred to Miami in his final year, and he was a really big part of that run that they made all the way to the national championship. He was a huge part of that offense, and he supported Carson Beck very well, helped Carson Beck have the success that he had, and CJ Daniels was one of their biggest targets throughout the postseason and throughout their run to that natty. So this is a really huge pick for them to get him in the 6th round. 6'2", 202 pounds. This guy is a really flashy receiver, very quick off the ball. This guy always seems to get open, and he was a problem for defenses all year long in Miami's college football season last year. So I think this is a really good addition for the Rams. The Rams are always looking for receiver talent. They're one of those teams that kind of lacks in that department year after year. So they're looking to upgrade their receiving core. They got a couple guys already that are holding it down for them, Puka Nacua and guys like that, but CJ Daniels definitely fit into this receiving room very well. I do believe he will be a great addition for the Los Angeles Rams. Should be a starter. I think he'll be like a slot guy or a third, fourth receiver in the lineup. You know what I mean? So I do believe that CJ Daniels will make a very big splash at the NFL level. So shout out to CJ Daniels going out of Miami in the 6th round, pick number 16 in the 6th round. And next up, we're going to be talking about the Las Vegas Raiders for a little while because I really like the Las Vegas Raiders draft. They really went ahead and made sure that they got out of this draft a lot of starters, a lot of talent that they can translate to the NFL level. Because the Raiders obviously need about everything. They are the worst team in the NFL right now as it stands, and they're looking to get out of the bottom dweller in the AFC West, at least a little bit. They got to upgrade a little bit this upcoming season. So I really like their draft. They had a lot of draft picks. They obviously built up for this draft, made some trades in the last season and the season before, getting ready for this draft, and they definitely went big. And they got a lot of good guys that are going to add to their roster. So other than of course, their number 1 overall pick that went to Fernando Mendoza, the quarterback out of Indiana, that's obviously going to be their guy moving forward. They got their franchise guy, and then everything after that was kind of in support of it. They invested a lot into defense, and they made sure that side of the ball was going to be solid, as well as adding a couple offensive pieces as well to support young Fernando. So let's start off with their first draft steal that I like. Jermod McCoy, the cornerback out of Tennessee, goes in the 4th round, the first pick of the 4th round. And this is really crazy because this guy was literally the 2nd overall ranked corner in this draft. A grade of 88 according to ESPN. I mean, this guy, in any normal draft, in any normal circumstances, this guy would have went in the 1st round and probably very high in the 1st round. And that's what he was projected to do in before last season. Unfortunately for McCoy, he tore his ACL in January. So that was a really big part of why he fell this far in the draft. He was a very dynamic corner at Tennessee, lockdown corner there in the SEC. And if you're ranked that high and you're a defensive back in the SEC, that means you're locking guys down because the SEC obviously has top tier wide receiver talent. Teams like Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, Ole Miss, Florida, all in between. So this guy was a really standout corner at Tennessee, 6'0", 188. Yeah, really the biggest thing for him was that ACL tear. That was a really big part of why he fell. Obviously, he missed the entire college football season because he tore it in January of 2025. So, the draft stock not being able to see him his senior year definitely took a plummet a little bit. But obviously, team still saw that he had some great talent. And in the fourth round, the Raiders went ahead and pulled the trigger. I guess nobody wanted him up to the fourth round, even though he was a first round type talent. And the must have been some very big concerns around that ACL tear. Maybe the medical X-rays and all that didn't come back as positive as he hoped. And the Raiders definitely got a steal here. If he can hold up in the NFL and he can get healthy, he will be a very great defensive back addition for the Las Vegas Raiders. So shout out to the Raiders for getting him in the fourth round. And then later on in the fourth round, they also get a running back, Mike Washington Jr. out of Arkansas, 6'1", 223. This guy was also a very flashy guy in the SEC down there at Arkansas. He was the third ranked running back in this draft. So, you're getting like top three position-wise, top three ranked guys, back to back in the fourth round. You get a second ranked corner in the fourth round, and you get the third ranked running back in the fourth round. The only two running backs taken up to this point were both taken in the first round, and they were both out of Notre Dame. That being Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price. So only the third running back off the board in this draft goes to the Raiders as well in the fourth round. And I think that's another very good addition for them. Obviously, they got a big running back last year in Ashton Genty coming out of Boise State. That was their first round pick last year. That was a really big splash. So having another really good young guy behind him and Mike Washington Jr., who definitely will be a very good 1-2 punch there in the backfield for them. The Raiders are definitely starting to put some pieces together on their offense. So definitely looking to transform their offense. Their offense was very depressing last season. One of the worst offenses in the NFL. They definitely need to fix that side of the ball, and the Raiders are taking it very seriously. Tom Brady back there putting some things together. So Mike Washington Jr., the 22nd pick in the fourth round, goes to the Raiders as well. Another Raiders pick. This time in the sixth round, they get Malik Benson, wide receiver out of Oregon. This guy was probably one of the better wide receivers on the Oregon offense this past season. Obviously, Oregon is one of the best college football teams in college football year after year. Last season, they had a very good run. They made it all the way to the semifinals before running into Indiana for the second time, but beating Texas Tech and James Madison in the playoff in their pretty good run. So Malik Benson was a big part of that. This guy is a speedster, 4.37, 40-yard dash. And he is also a big playmaker. He is a guy that's going to go up and get the ball. He has a very good vertical as well, and he was very productive for the Oregon Ducks in this past season. So the Raiders again getting a very good piece for Fernando Mendoza here in a young offense. They got a very young quarterback, young receivers, young running backs. They're definitely trying to make some things happen in the future. So if they can get all of this young talent to mesh together, this offense is going to be looking different going down the stretch in these coming seasons. So especially in the AFC West, because you got to be able to compete in the AFC West right now. The Chiefs obviously are there. They fell off this past season, but they are always a threat. And then the Chargers and the Broncos are both playoff caliber teams. So the Raiders are kind of on their own right now at the bottom, and they got to find a way to dig themselves out. So they're trying to build for the future, putting some young talent together, and I think I really like what they're doing. I like their approach to this draft, and I really like all this talent that was standout talent at the college level. Like, these are not guys that were not making plays at the college level. They were guys that you thought were definitely going to play on Sundays, and the Raiders are getting them in bulk here in this draft. So shout out to the Raiders. Malik Benson goes in the 6th round, pick number 14 in the 6th round. And the last pick I want to talk about in this episode goes in the 2nd round to the Miami Dolphins. We have Jacob Rodriguez, the linebacker out of Texas Tech. So this guy was a huge part of Texas Tech's success in this past season. Texas Tech made the playoffs as well, and they ran into Oregon, and that is where their season ended. But Texas Tech had a very great season. I think they only lost one game going into that loss to Oregon. They went like 12-1, won the Big 12 championship, and Jacob Rodriguez was a part of a kind of a combo of linebackers the Texas Tech Red Raiders had. They had another guy that was very good as well for the Texas Tech Red Raiders. And Jacob Rodriguez, he was literally a Heisman finalist. That's how good this guy was. Like, as a linebacker, that is almost unheard of. So this guy was making plays for sure. He was making so many plays at Texas Tech that you could literally like point him out on the screen. Like, that's how much this guy was flying around the ball, intercepting passes, hitting guys hard, causing fumbles, just a disruption overall in the pass rush as well. Jacob Rodriguez was a force to be reckoned with, and when a guy like that is flashing at the linebacker position, you know that he is a stud. So the Miami Dolphins saw that as well, and they get him in the 2nd round, pick number 11 in the 2nd round out of Texas Tech. 6'1", 231, the 5th-ranked linebacker. So obviously a very good talent, but some really good other linebackers in this draft as well that went a little earlier. So shout out to Jacob Rodriguez. He won the Best Linebacker Award in this past college football season as well. Heisman finalist, so this guy is definitely going to make the splash at the NFL level. And the Dolphins are in bad need of some talent on the defensive side of the ball. They're looking to rebuild, so this is probably going to be one of their pieces going into the future as they try to rebuild down there in Miami.